Hello, I'm Marcel and I'm here for the Roarockit Skateboard Company to talk to you guys about a brand new product that we have for you. This is the Mold Master. Now this is a tool that we have designed and built ourselves to help you guys design and build your own skateboard molds. Questions that we've gotten a lot, how do I make my mold? What design should I do with my mold? And we think that this tool will help to answer a lot of those questions. I'm going to walk you guys through what comes in the box when you purchase one, and then we're going to actually use one, and then I will go ahead and carve this mold out to show you the molds that we have designed and end up with. To start with, we have the Mold Master itself. Looks great. This comes with a set of instructions, very simple and clear. And we have our novelty caliper pen. We've picked this one just because it works really nicely with the gauges on our Mold Master. So with that, let's get right to it. So I'm going to start with the center line on our mold. This is sort of the most important line that you're going to draw because it will transfer to the actual layup, into cutting the board, applying your graphics and your trucks and base plates. We have these handy center line notches that correspond with our standard molds. And I am using the Street Deck 9.5 inch mold, so I will use that hole. It's handily marked right here. And securing the Mold Master with the hand that's doing the marking so that my other hand is free to hold the material. I'm going to drag my Mold Master across. Looks good. Now with that, I am going to work on my kicktails. I like to do the kicktails first because then that sets the outside boundaries where my concave will go. So let's start with that. We have this awesome little protractor on the side here. So we're going to set our notch. Let's do 5-inch long kicktails. Should end up at about 6.5 to the base plate once we're all done. So we set our mark here, and then along the edge of our protractor we've got 5 notches for some angles, and in between each notch are markings for individual angles if you want to get a little bit more granular than that. But I'm going to go for the deepest one, so let's go for that 25-degree mark. Let's do it on the other side. Set our mark here and here. Gonna do the 25 again on the other side. Do it on the other. And common practice for kicktails is to do the nose a little bit deeper than the tail. There's a lot of reasons for that I'm not going to get into here today, but let's do that. So let's go a little bit more than the 25. Here, I pick 27. Now that we have all of our notches, let's connect them. So the Mold Master has a nice rulered straight edge along the top that we can use for this task. Now with that, we can mark our lines across. So let's start with the top. We have these handy notches here on the top that you can use to extend any lines across that you've started. We'll do the same on the other side. And we'll do the connection. Same with the other side. Excellent. Now with that, we can do the notches on the other end. Let's just extend that around the corner. And we will do the connection. This will happen off the table so that I can reach. Now we have our kicktail boundaries. This will be our markings that will tell us where we should stop carving. And with that, we can move on to the concave. Now the Mold Master has a couple of really nifty features for setting your concave boundaries. So let's get to it. First, I'm going to start with my termination line. Now what this line is for, it's going to determine where our concave ends. The reason we are doing this is because the veneer that is going to be used, or wood in general, won't do any compound bends. What I mean by this is it will bend in one direction and then it won't at the same time transition to a different direction. For example, the concave on our board is bending to the side, right? Whereas the kicktail will bend down towards the end. So it won't be able to do those at the same time. So what we need to do is return our veneer back to a neutral position. And that is where this boundary comes in. And so we set a bit of space between here, and the veneer will return back to flat before it does a different directional bend for the kicktail. So I am going to go with 1/2 inch space here, using the ruler on the corner as well as the ruler on our straight edge. And with our little notches, I'm going to mark our line. Now this distance can be anything you'd like it to be. The whole point is for it to return back to neutral. Personally, I push it as far as 1/8, but a good healthy number is 1/2 inch. You could even go up to 1 inch or more. Let's do the same on the other side. So we're going for a 1/2 inch gap. And great. Now with that, I want to draw a line across, but I want to keep things fairly clean, so I'm going to jump ahead and start the next step, which is our concave across the length. So this is going to determine how much flat space we have in the middle. Now you're not going to want to go all the way to the middle, because that will give you sort of a radius across the entire board. That's something that's very uncomfortable to stand in for very long periods of time. You want something that is flat in the middle so that your foot remains flat when you're standing either across the board or down the length of it. So I'm going to go for something like 3 inches of flat space in the middle, which means that I'm going to pick 1.5 inches and mark that. So let's start at our boundary here. And again, securing it with the drawing hands, drag it across to our other boundary. Beautiful. Let's do the other side. Excellent. There we go. A nice 3-inch bit of flat space in the middle. Our boundaries are set, so let's draw this line. Got our nice little straight edge here. Let's draw this line. I'm not going to go past our concave boundary here because I want to keep things tidy. There we go. And let's do the same on the other side. Again, not crossing our boundary. Keeping things nice and clean. And there we have it. We have the top half of our concave boundaries. Now, before we go on to setting more lines on the top, we have some work on the side to do. Now, we need to figure out how deep we're going to go. This will determine how steep your concave is as it travels towards the edge of the board. Personally, I like to do about 1/2 inch of depth over 9.5 inches. This gives me something that's a little bit more mellow and comfortable once you cut it out at, say, 8.5 inches, 9 inches, or anything in between. 1/2 inch can be a little bit much for concave, but that all depends on the rider. Personally, I like something a little bit more mellow, so we're going to go with the 1/2 inch. To help ourselves out, we're going to transfer this boundary line over the edge a bit, just a tiny little mark so we know where it is. And same on the other side. Great. Now we can use our Mold Master to draw our lines. So I am going to pick, lining up with our concave boundary, I'm going to pick the first notch, which is 1/2 inch, and I am going to draw that all the way across to our other concave boundary line. There we go. Now we can free-handedly connect these so that we have nice demarcated boundaries for carving. Let's do the same on the other side. We now have pretty much all of our carving boundaries, but we are missing one final thing. We have 3 radii on our Mold Master. We'll use this for creating the transition spaces in our concave. The reason we're going to do this is that it creates a bit of a more forgiving shape in terms of directing the veneer back into its neutral position. If you were to just rely on this sharp corner, About in this section here, the veneer would do whatever it wants to do to meet this new bend. But if we introduce a little radius, we sort of encourage it to do what we want when we want it to, which is to return back to neutral 1/2 inch before the kicktail. So I'm going to go with the medium radius, this is a 2-inch radius, where we will line up the notches with our straight lines. You can even do a little drawing first to see if you match. It looks like we match. So let's draw a radius. Looks good. We can connect that spot in the middle and do the other side. We need to do the other side, which will require us to flip the mold master over. And same thing. Line up your notches to your lines. And we are done. Now we've got concave, we have kicktails, boundaries on all 4 sides for each of these features. We will go ahead and carve this out and we can show you what the mold looks like when we're done. Hey! I'm here with my handy little tool and everything I will need to make this foam mold. What I got in my hands is our Surfform rasp. We sell these. We also include one for free in all of our foam pack products that you can find on our website. I also have with me here a foot-long rasp and my grip tape on a block. It uses my sandpaper block. It makes for a nice flat edge. Not pictured here is a couple of other tools you could use to help yourself out with bigger chunks of work. Something like a drywall or Japanese saw would work really well for taking off big chunks of foam, but you must realize that it's very easy to make mistakes, and when you're carving, mistakes can't be undone. And so it's always better to work a little slower than too fast. So I will work with my mellow tools here and we will carve out this mold. So let's get to it. Looks like our mold's all ready for pressing. You can buy the Mold Master on our website, Roarockit.com. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below. We will get back to you as soon as we can. For the Roarockit Skateboard Company, I'm Marcel, and I'll see you guys next time.